And chat. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Root Double Before Crime After Days. It's been a little while. It was the start of December when we last played this, I believe. We got a little bit into it. Yeah, why don't we just jump right back in? We're in after chapter 3. Scene title. Oh yeah, we made it through the anti-oxygen area. They found themselves in a labyrinth of pipes that seemed to cover the entire room. The group laid down the unconscious members they were carrying. It appears that we've made it here safely. Kazumi's face looked deathly pale. Was it because of the effects of the radiation, or was it extreme fatigue? Either way, Watase spoke to her. Tachibana, let's start the sprinkler system up right away. We're done for if the fire makes it here. Understood. Wait, I'll go with you. I know where the sprinkler system is. They showed it to me during my orientation days. I also think it'd be best for Lieutenant Tachibana to get some rest. Thanks, that'd be a huge help. But are you sure you'll be okay? Ukita's face was just as pale as Kazumi's. Don't fret, I'm still a man just like you. So allow me to show off for a bit here. Alright, machismo. I see. Sorry, that'd be great. With those words, Watase walked over to Ukita with faltering steps and let the latter his shoulder. So where's the sprinkler system? Well, it's back out in the hallway. Oh, over there. My apologies. Please take care of it, you two. Watase and Ukita nodded to Kazumi, then promptly started heading deeper into the engine room. They proceeded to weave their way through the labyrinth of pipes. We're here. Ukita said that and pointed to countless valves next to a giant tank. That's the sprinkler system? Right. We have to open all the valves there. Got it. Leave it to me. Watase quickly followed Ukita's instructions. The tank began to groan, and the pipes connected to it all started vibrating at once. Good, that should take care of matters. Great, then let's hurry back. We need to find some AD, and fast. No, I'm sorry, but I've hit my limit. I'll stay here and make sure the system is operating normally. Ukita had probably pushed himself considerably to do all this, which was even more evident from the pronounced fatigue on his face and the glitching the game audio was making. So Watase left him there and navigated his way back through the pipe maze. But when he got back to the ladder... Tachibana? Kazumi was lying on the ground, collapsed. Watase frantically ran over to her. I'm sorry, Captain. A sickening stench filled Watase's nose. A puddle of vomit was lying nearby. It had most likely been the result of the effects of radiation exposure taking their toll on Kazumi. I knew it. That AD wasn't enough for her. Just hold on, okay? I'll find some AD in no time flat, you hear? Well, we've got to wait for the hallway to replenish the oxygen. Watase sped towards the ladder and slid on down. Down? That ladder goes up. He heard what sounded like a shower in the distance. It seemed the sprinklers were doing their job in the blocks with fires in them properly. However, it was likely that the halls weren't clear of gas just yet. Watase took the deepest breath he could, then rushed out into... Did you really need a quotation pair with a hyphen in the middle of it? Come on. Watase took the deepest breath he could, then rushed out into the first room yielded no AD. Watase found a medical box lying in the second room. He ran over to it and opened it up. Found them. He discovered there were 2 AD in there. While he was overjoyed at how surprisingly quickly he'd found some AD, Watase was also a bit disappointed. Well, there's more rooms to check, Watase. If I'd known this was lying around so close by, then I would never hesitated to search back then. Then Tachibana wouldn't have had to suffer so much. Still, now he'd secured the necessary AD for Kazumi. They were still 4 short, but he felt like his breath was about to run out after having run around this whole time. Watase reluctantly cut his search short and returned to the engine room. Well, dose Kazumi and then find some more, Watase. By the time he got back up the ladder, June and Enna were already awake, desperately looking after Kazumi as she moaned in agony. Captain, the lieutenant's... I know. Give this to her, stat. Watase gave one of the AD to June, who then quickly injected it into Kazumi. And then she got up just fine because it's magic medicine. No. Kazumi was liberated from her pain as the AD started to take effect. She then fell unconscious. June immediately checked Kazumi's vital checker. All green. Whew, that was scary. Looks like we can take it easy for now. Well, we've only got like 15 minutes or so before the AD wears off. We've got to find more. By the way, mind telling us what's going on, Captain Kasasagi? This is the engine room, isn't it? Wait, does that mean you already started up the sprinkler system? But I don't see Mr. Ukita anywhere. Watase proceeded to answer their questions and explain what had happened up until that point. Such as how they'd run through the gas and miraculously made it to the engine room. About how he and Ukita started up the sprinkler system. And how he'd only been able to get his hands on 2 AD. It was a cursory search, you'll find more. So now that we've used one on Miss Tachibana, we only have one more left, huh? Yeah, there may still be some in the rooms downstairs I haven't checked yet, but... Alrighty, then it's my turn to go hunt down some AD. No, I'd quit while you're ahead. Don't you remember how you fainted only a few minutes ago? But... No. Even I've hit my limit. If you fainted again, then who'd save you this time? Yeah, I guess you've got a point. Hey, how long will it take for the sprinkler system to finish extinguishing and ventilating everything? Hell if I know. 10 minutes, maybe? 10 minutes, huh? So we'll be stuck without a way to get any AD for that long, huh? Anna said that and quietly looked at the now unconscious Kazumi's face. She was probably worried that they'd end up just like her. A heavy atmosphere hung over the entire engine room. Time then flew by without event. And then Kazumi's watch rang, informing them their last dose of AD had worn off. We should have gone looking! Kazumi woke up at that moment. Oh, Lieutenant! It appears I passed out. She slowly sat up as she shook her head. How are you feeling, Tachibana? Your face is looking a lot less pale, but better safe than sorry. Yes, I'm feeling better, thanks to you. Moribe, Captain, Miss Tsubakiyama, I caused you a lot of concern, didn't I? What are you talking about? We're the ones who should be saying that. Just then, Ukita came back. His gait was now firm. Perhaps he'd recovered his stamina. Hey, the sprinkler system's functioning normally. It should be safe for us to go back down now. I see. Sorry for making you have to tell us. Oh, don't let it weigh on your mind. Incidentally, I think I heard an alarm a little while ago. Was I right? Kazumi gasped in surprise. Captain, did you find enough AD for everyone? Sure didn't, and then I sat on my ass instead of looking for more. Sorry, I only got 2, and now there's only 1 left. Huh? I see. Silence filled the air once again. Watase began to feel an uncomfortable tingling in his skin, as if to prove that the effects of the AD had worn off. He looked around to see that everyone apart from Kazumi was rubbing their arms. The Procyon read 3090 MSV, a radiation level that most likely would have serious effects on those who hadn't taken any AD. June nervously began to talk. So, who gets the last AD? Ukita immediately answered without the slightest hesitation. Let's use it on Yuri. You're right. She's got the weakest body of us all, after all. Yeah, but I kind of suspect she's immune to radiation. And at that moment... Huh? Where am I? Yuri woke up and looked around in confusion. You inhaled some gas and passed out, but you're okay now. We've got the sprinkler system up and running even as we speak. So that's what happened. Yuri's answer was vague, most likely because she wasn't fully awake yet. Could this be symptoms of radiation exposure? No, it's symptoms of passing out from gas. Watase took Yuri's arm as anxiety welled up inside him. Come on, translators. We'll explain the details later. It's more important that we inject you with some AD now. Huh? Yuri let out a bewildered cry at Watase's words. And as soon as she saw the AD in his hands... No! Yuri knocked it away. Ah! Did she break it? The AD hit a pipe and shattered into bits. Oh, come on, Yuri! And so the last precious ampule of AD that the group had saved for Yuri was gone. Yuri, how could you? Blood rushed to Watase's head. He then rose his hand on instinct, but then... Were you gonna slap her? Stop! Watase writhed in pain from a sudden headache. Ugh! His vision quickly grew dark. Don't tell me. Is this a result of the AD's effects wearing off? His consciousness then sank into a void. His consciousness was in an eternal darkness. But by the time he could realize that, the darkness had ceased to be. He woke up to find himself still in the engine room. He shook his hazy head and glanced at his watch. It read 12:56 p.m. An hour and a half had already passed. What, since he passed out? Damn. Where are the others? Watase looked around, but no one else was there. He suddenly spotted his PDA on the ground. On the screen was a simple 4-word message. We went on ahead. And lying next to it was an AD. I see. So they actually found some AD after that. Yep. Told you should have looked harder. Both his headache and the discomfort in his skin were gone. Someone must have injected him with AD while he was passed out. Okay, time for me to get going. He didn't know where Kazumi and the others were, but he couldn't just sit around doing nothing. Watase put the AD in his pocket, climbed down the ladder, and went looking for the others. He left the room to find that the hall was already completely clear of gas. Guess I'll go check the surveillance room first. It would probably be easier to find the group by checking the surveillance camera footage rather than blindly wandering around Labo. With his mind made up, Watase headed over to the inner ring. He then walked through the now doused connecting passageway and entered B1 of Area 3's inner ring. What? Explosion? When a fierce roar suddenly shook the air. What? An explosion? Shivers ran down his spine. What happened? I thought all the fires in Labo had been taken care of. His heart started pounding like crazy in the face of this seemingly impossible event. Watase ran through the halls as fast as he could to find out what had happened. He then spotted clouds of dust coming from up ahead in the vicinity of the stairwell. The fireproof door to the stairwell was crushed from the inside out. Yeah, Happy New Year, Thor. Oh, by the way, everybody, if you use the ! schedule command, you can see my schedule for January. It's up. It's up in the Google Doc. Why the hell did this happen? Watase lost his cool and lunged into the stairwell. It was dark. There was so much dust shrouding the room that it was almost blinding. But Watase strained his eyes and was gradually able to make out more and more of the disaster in front of him. The stairs leading to B2 had blown up without a trace. And to make matters worse, something was lying at the edge of the collapsed staircase. What's that? And it was simply too dark for him to even make out its shape. Well, pick it up and take it out of the darkness. Okay, I've lost track of where we are. Does that mean he can't get to the inner ring B2, or does that mean he can't get back to the outer ring? He had no choice but to go and find out what it was. Watase gulped. He then went down the crumbling staircase, one step at a time. There were only a few dozen steps, but it felt so terribly far. The closer he got, the more his body oozed with sweat. Turn back! Something that was most likely Watase's instincts was screaming that at him. But Watase ignored the voice and kept on going. His eyes were getting more and more used to the darkness, allowing him to tell that the object he was looking at was human-shaped. Uh-oh! It had hands, a head, arms. Who is it? Watase went down on his knees to check the person's identity. Oh yeah, there's going to be some Paper Mario streams added to the schedule that I just haven't put on there yet. I'm going to try to finish Paper Mario 1 in January in preparation for Thousand Year Door's remaster coming out later in the year. It was none other than Tachibana. As soon as he realized it was her, he could clearly make out Kazumi's face in the darkness. Hey, Tachibana, hang in there! Watase panicked and desperately took her into his arms. Are we losing her? But it was strange. She was light. Too light. It was only then that Watase finally noticed it. The lower half of her body was gone. Holy shit! Ah! Watase immediately looked for it, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Blood trickled down to the floor of B2 from Kazumi's dangling intestines. Oh man, I wasn't expecting to lose her this early. I guess she was really sick, but... Wow! Wow! Ah! A feral howl escaped from Watase's throat. An howl full of an unidentified emotion that could not be interpreted as either anger or sorrow. Just then, someone appeared behind Watase. Oh, this is a dream, isn't it? Watase tried to turn around right away, but it was already too late. He was thrust away by something, probably a foot. When he came to his senses, he was in pitch-black darkness. He fell head first as he continued to hold on to the upper half of Kazumi's body. And a second later, the crown of his head smashed into the ground, making a squelching noise. Ugh! His skull broke, causing something to start leaking out of it. Oh, I got a bad end. Ugh, ah! A bizarre noise came out of his mouth. And so the last thing Watase ever saw as he lay in that darkness was the hollow look on Kazumi's face lying next to him. Wait, I didn't have a chance to do dating sim values. It happened last stream, you saved it. Okay. Thank God I have a save there. You may be able to avert this fate by setting Watase's senses lower than the rest of his groups at the SSS input just before this ending. Okay. Whew. Good thing I have a save. Let's hope I didn't save over it. I guess I'll just get in the habit of saving at every dating sim adjustment. Couldn't remember how long this bad end was. When you asked if it would be best to end the stream early, I thought it was probably better to do that. It's 10. Okay. Alright, so set Watase's dating sim values lower than everyone else. Alright, well, we'll get him to minimum. And we'll get Enna up. Yuri up. Okay. So the character senses to their minimum value. Alright. No, wait. If I die looking for the AD, then it'll all be for nothing. Even if they went looking for the AD after restarting the sprinkler system, it might not take as much time as expected. Then they wouldn't have to go very long without any AD. Their cumulative exposure probably wouldn't increase all that much. Should I prioritize my own safety and look towards precautions, or should I brave the danger to find AD for everyone? Watase had already figured out the answer to that question. Tachibana, bring everyone up the ladder. Captain, what do you think you're doing? I'm gonna go back into the gas one more time and look for AD. Watase said that, took a deep breath, and rushed out of the room. Captain, please wait, Captain. Man, that was a long-ass bad end. Even counting just what I did today, that was half an hour of dialogue and visual novel between that choice and the bad ending. Captain, please wait, Captain! Kazumi's cries fell on deaf ears. Give me some possible details of the future, too. Gotta avoid, gotta avoid, Kazumi getting exploded. Watase ran through the poisonous air. He kept his breath held completely all the while. He believed that there was AD in one of the several offices that lined the outer ring. The first room yielded no luck. But there was an iron box lying in the second room. A medical box! Watase ran over to it and opened it up. Inside of it was some AD, and only 2 ampules of it. This isn't enough. Watase shoved the AD in his pocket and tossed the medical box aside. He needed 4 more to keep everyone, especially Kazumi, alive. Watase gritted his teeth and ran into the next room. But there was no AD to be found there, nor in the room after that, or even in the room after that one. God damn it, there's nothing here! Going through a second round of anaerobic exercise was particularly harsh on Watase, though it was still easier than when he'd been carrying June and Yuri. This would be so much easier if I could just breathe. His lungs were seeking oxygen so desperately that his heart felt like it was going to explode. Duck back into the air area and take a breath. He put up with it and entered the next room. Uh-oh! Only to be greeted by the swaying of flames. Okay, save 12. What are we gonna do here? Huh. If we keep our dating sim values low for ourselves, we might burn to death. But I did just save, so let's keep it low and see if I find some. Only to be greeted by the swaying of flames. Pitch black smoke spread, sending a striking pain through his eyes. Right, so not only do I have to hold my breath, but now I'm against fire? If there was any AD in there, he had to get it now, or it would be incinerated. It's probably incinerated already, Watase. But Watase could very well lose his life for real searching in a place like this. Watase's heart let out a scream. Okay, let's get this bad end. I can't hold out much longer. Can I make it? I can't do it. There's just no way it can be done. Watase turned his back on the room, but I lowered my self-preservation value. But just as he was about to leave, oh, okay, I am going in. 5 faces flashed through his mind. God damn it! Watase clenched his fists as he stood in that lethal gas. How long can you hold your breath, man? They needed 4 more ampules of AD. 4 people would be exposed to radiation if he didn't find some quickly. I don't want to let anyone die. He held his ground and turned back. He then ran into the room while cursing himself for his moment of weakness. Watase strained his eyes and looked around as black smoke and raging heat waves assaulted him. Just then, he spotted a medical box in a gap between the flames. Is there anything in it? Watase ran over to the box and opened it up. No, take the box and leave the room. Don't open it in there. Inside were 5 ampules of AD. They're here. Watase grabbed the box and took it with him. But he then hit his limit. Watase's consciousness started fading from oxygen deprivation. It hurts. And then, as his body thirsted for air, the dam within him finally broke down. By the time he came to his senses, he was breathing. A second later, he passed out. He felt an intense, suffocating sensation, like someone had jammed silk floss down his throat. His whole body went rigid in mere moments. His 5 senses went faint, and his line of sight started blacking out. And everything went dark, and you die. The words oxygen-deficient air crossed his mind. Let me get this AD to everyone, if nothing else. But his body wouldn't move. The flames closed in on him. It's hot. I'm burning. Someone, help me. I can't breathe. Watase's consciousness then shut off, and before long, vanished completely. Game over. Result of showing weakness, setting his senses very high to avoid showing weakness and just run in and grab stuff? Or to run away? The dating sim values don't make much sense in this game. They seem arbitrary and different for every decision. The context of putting everyone above Watase is why he went out, but putting Watase low when he was by himself meant he hesitated on taking an action. Putting it high meant he had the confidence he could do it quicker. Huh. Yeah, it's very weird. So I guess I'll set his dating sim values very high. Pitch black smoke spread, sending a striking pain through his eyes. No, I can do this. Watase steeled his resolve and stood his ground. He wiped his tears and looked around carefully. And soon enough, he spotted a medical box in a gap between the flames. Is there anything in it? He frantically ran over to the box. Inside of it were 5 ampules of AD. Yes, they're here. Watase grabbed the box and took it with him. He then mustered his strength and fled from the room. But he didn't have any strength left. His consciousness was fading from oxygen deprivation. How many bad ends have we hit so far? Like half a dozen. His feet were as heavy as lead, and tears filled his eyes, distorting his line of sight. Damn it, I've hit my limit. Watase walked through the darkness, still holding his breath. Let me get this AD to everyone, if nothing else. He leaned against the wall and fumbled his way down the hall. But before long, his hand came into contact with something soft. A hand? Someone's hand was firmly gripping Watase's. Watase wiped his tears and looked in front of him. Okay, if one of your hands is being gripped by Kazumi here, and the other hand has the box of medical supplies in here, do you have a third hand to wipe your tears away? Sometimes I find it's better to read a few sentences into a choice before I change the values, because that'll usually give you more of an idea of the mindset it wants you to have for a choice. Like when you had to put everyone higher than Watase, it took about 3 sentences for him to mention whether or not he should risk himself for the others. Gotcha. Kazumi was standing there. Tachibana. He called out to her in a voice that wasn't a voice. Kazumi also wordlessly replied to it. She appeared to have said, Captain. Kazumi lent Watase her shoulder, and then broke off into a mad dash. They reached the room with the ladder, and practically dived into it. Excuse me. Both of them took deep breaths once the door was closed. Ah! Whew! Captain, are you all right? Yeah. Watase took out the AD he'd retrieved as he continued to pant. More importantly, take this. It's AD. Now we can save everyone. Kazumi gave him a pointed look. I'm sorry. Guess I made you worry about me again, huh? Watase was prepared to face another scolding from her. But instead, Kazumi gave him a sweet smile. Sheesh, you really are always so reckless. Interested in Lore's future audiobook and VA career? Certainly makes streams like this very interesting. Well, thank you. I'm proud of my voice. I'm proud of my narration. My New Year's resolution this year is to, after I heal from my sinus surgery that I'm having at the end of February, I want to try out narration and audiobook and voice acting stuff and try to get work doing that, because that would be a lot of fun. Sheesh, you really are always so reckless. You're not going to scold me? I don't endorse heroics, but I cannot deny that your actions deserve merit this time. Is that right? That's good. Yes, it is good. Kazumi said that and held her hand out to Watase. It was right at that moment that Kazumi's watch alarm went off. It's time to administer the AD. Let's go upstairs. Well, thank you, Teddy. I'd love to do that. Right. Watase took Kazumi's hand and climbed up the ladder. And soon enough, they reached the engine room. Jun, Yuri, and Enna were already lying there, and Ukita was sitting next to them. Alright, then let's administer AD to everyone. Let's split up the work. Let me have 3 of them. Watase and Kazumi soon began injecting everyone. First Jun, then Ukita, then Enna, then Yuri. And last, they injected themselves. Next, let's do a vitals check. Kazumi then removed her vital checker and wrapped it around everyone's wrists one by one. Watase watched with bated breath as she checked everyone's blood pressure and temperature, only for her to finish and start speaking with a relieved tone of voice. Check completed. Everyone checks out as green. They're all unconscious, but I believe they'll recover soon enough. Watase then breathed a huge sigh of relief. Thank God everyone's okay. Yes, so it should be alright for us to rest a while. Yeah, you guys are about to pass out. Well, Watase is. They don't need any antidotes or anything? Oxygen-deficient air is extremely harmful to humans, but it's not poisonous. They should be alright if they keep inhaling fresh air. Good. Then you stay here and look after the others. I'll take this time to start up this sprinkler system. But where is it? This place is like a maze. Well, ask Ukita. Kazumi examined her surroundings. Just as she'd said, there were various sized pipes and pieces of equipment strewn all over the place. It was difficult to tell where anything was here. Is there a blueprint to this place or anything like that? He looked around with that thought in mind and eventually spotted a machine with a small monitor on it located by the ladder. What's that? Watase and Kazumi ran up to the machine and found the following written on the screen. Engine room engineer terminal menu, electronics manual screen, work management screen, editing screen. Please touch the screen you wish to view. It appeared they were electronics manuals for the staff who supervised the engine room. Watase decided to tap the electronics manuals bar first, causing the contents of the screen to change. Slightly related, but I once read that studio buildings are intentionally built to be like a maze to keep them from being hijacked. Like radio studios? Broadcast studios? Well, that's interesting. Electronics Manual Screen Menu. WX Particle Amplifier Operation Manual. Filtering Mechanism Maintenance Manual. Force Circulation Pump Maintenance Manual. Plumbing Maintenance/Inspection Manual. Switchboard Operation Manual. Dry Suppressor Operation Manual. Fully Automatic Dusters Maintenance/Operation Manual. Can't really tell what each one does from the titles alone. What's this WX Particle Amplifier Operation Manual one? Kazumi pressed that section, changing the screen yet again. Ooh, are we going to get lore and mysteries? It drew up a graph of a cylindrical machine, along with the manual's table of contents. But there wasn't anything important listed on it. Doesn't look like it has anything to do with the sprinkler system, does it? Damn it, is there no sprinkler system manual? Watase tried to fiddle around with the screen some more, but then... Wait. Ukita called out in a pained voice as he kept sitting on the floor. Mr. Ukita, you okay? Yes, somehow. Ukita stood up and shook his head. More importantly, I know where the sprinkler system is. They showed it to me during my orientation days, you see. Are you just telling us where the sprinkler is, or are you also trying to keep us from browsing through the computer system? It's further in. I'll guide you there. I see. That'd be great. We apologize for inconveniencing you, but we'll kindly take you up on your offer. Ukita nodded and started walking on unsteady feet. Watase followed him with a similar stumble in his steps. Ukita weaved his way through the gaps between the labyrinth of pipes. Watase followed close by, making sure Ukita didn't lose his balance. Ukita pointed further down the path towards an object that had come into view. If memory serves me right, that large tank over there is full of water, nitrogen gas, and other fire-extinguishing agents. Nitrogen gas? It's used to extinguish fires where liquids can't. Think about it. You couldn't use water to put out fires in a place where Brain Cell is, could you? I see. Then what's that real thick pipe over there for? Next to the tank was a thick pipe that crossed near the engine room's ceiling. Interesting. Intake pipe and drainage pipe for water. That, I believe, is a coolant pipe for the nuclear reactor. It brings in water from a nearby lake. And then leaks it back out with radiation in it? Has Lake Rokume been irradiated? A lake, huh? An idea suddenly flashed through Watase's head. I know. Couldn't we go through that pipe and escape into the lake? What, through an intake pipe full of water, Watase? You're not going to make it through there. You wouldn't make it through there, let alone the civilians. That'd be impossible. Huh? Why's that? Oh, I guess it's cooling the reactor, not the steam reaction inside the actual with the nuclear rods. Huh? Why's that? I said it was a coolant pipe, right? It means it's full of water circulating at high speeds. If you were to break a hole in the pipe to get inside, water would pour out of it with the force of a tidal wave, flooding the entire basement. Everyone would be killed. I see. Is there a way to shut off the flow of water? I don't know. Even if there were, escape would still be impossible. It's 500 meters to the lake from here. Think you could make it that far while holding your breath? Then what if we used an air tank? Are there air tanks here? Actually, that's a good idea. Or at least it would be if there were enough air tanks and masks for everyone. Well, even if we did, the water used by the coolant is heated by the reactor. I believe it's over 50 degrees Celsius, not a temperature one can hope to withstand. So it really was impossible to escape through the pipe, in a number of ways. Watase's shoulders slumped in disappointment. I see. And here I thought it was a good idea. Unfortunately, no. Even I considered right away if it was possible. Oh, right, they do have air tanks and masks because they're rescue workers. But I didn't mention it up until now because it was impossible to begin with. After all, I believe these things were probably explained to you before you lost your memory, no? Those sarcastic words hit too close to home. I see. I'm sorry, but I don't remember that at all. And you can't say it's as simple as your memories being hazy. Okay. Do I trust him? Huh. Huh. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll keep my decent value with him high. Are you sure you don't remember anything? Such as why you went down to the basement, or the names of the people you were trying to save? Nothing. Tachibana said my memories would return in time, but it seems it's taking a while. Ukita went quiet. He looked at Watase with a somewhat doubtful expression. Realizing it was only natural for Ukita to be that way, Watase continued. I hate to break it to you, really, but it's the truth. I'm sorry for being such an unreliable rescue worker. So even though you've been like that since a few hours back, you still went to get AD for everyone, knowing you could very well die? Yeah, after all, there's not much I can do as I am now. Also, I needed AD to survive. My body's still strong, even without my memories. So I feel I have to make up for my lack of knowledge with my physical abilities. Because radiation is more terrifying than gas. Of course. The thing I'm most scared about is us not having AD, obviously. But thanks to my little anaerobic exercise back there, it looks like we'll still live another hour longer. Ukita stared at Watase for a while, and eventually settled for a snort. That is indeed quite impressive. I've realized I never thanked you before now. You have my sincerest gratitude. What's gotten into you? I'm not that happy about getting a compliment from you, old man. Don't be a dick, Watase. Who are you calling an old man? I'm only 35. With that hair color? Alright, I guess it is anime. I'm not that much older than you, right? Now that you mention it, that's true. Well, as fellow old men, it's our duty to work together and help these girls out. He thought it was a bit rude, but he felt feelings of kinship towards Ukita welling up inside him when he called the latter old man. That term felt like it naturally suited Ukita, probably because his appearance and white hair made him look much older than he actually was. Ukita didn't particularly seem to mind. However, he suddenly came to a stop. Well there, we've made it. This is it. Watase looked and saw that there were countless valves next to the tank. It appears that these valves are closed for some reason. So they really were running an inspection on them. I feel the old man thing. I'm 35. We can't say for sure now. Anyway, the sprinkler system should reactivate if we open them up. Alright, lend me a hand, old man. Very well. After that exchange, Watase and Ukita turned the valves one after another. The tank began to groan, and the pipes connected to it all started vibrating at once. Good, this should take care of matters. I hope this takes out the fires in Area N, too. God, I was 27 when I started Loreweaver Universe. That's wild that I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I hope this takes out the fires in Area N, too. No, unfortunately. It seems that the sprinklers in that area use a separate system. Oh, great. I see. But just having the fires in the other areas all taken care of was more than enough. Anyway, shall we go report our success to the others? No, I'll stay here for a while and make sure the system is operating normally. Sorry. Thanks. Watase then parted ways with Ukita and headed back to Kazumi. When he got back to the ladder area, Kazumi called out to him. Oh, welcome back, Captain. Saving. Alright, what do we got? June. Yuri was still lying on the floor, but June and Enna were already up and about. Oh, so you guys are up and running again? Yes, thank you for helping us. Captain, I'm so ashamed of myself. I want to bury myself in a hole after fainting right after a dramatic exit like that. What are you talking about? You were the one who opened that gate. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Really? Really, you should be proud of yourself. You sure are nice today, Captain. A smile rose to June's pale face. Kazumi also seemed relieved. He's right. We were also able to get some AD thanks to you. Huh, you found AD? Yep, already dosed you too. Yeah, we administered it to you while you guys were out of it. Oh, thank God. Now we can take it a bit easy, huh? You're right. It also appears that the sprinkler system is back online. Yeah, now we don't have to worry so much about getting taken out by a fire. And if it takes out the source of the fire downstairs, we'll be able to walk around normally soon enough. Hey, how long will it take for the sprinkler system to finish extinguishing and ventilating everything? Let me see, about 10 minutes or so, I believe. It was a bit troubling that they were stuck here for a while, but now that I think about it, all of us must be tired. If someone with a body like Watase's was tired, then it was probably worse for everyone else. Then why don't we take a little break until Yuri wakes up? That sounds good. After all, there isn't much else we can do for the moment. Amen to that. And so the group decided to take a rest while the sprinkler system did its work. And I am going to take a quick break and go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a few minutes, guys. Sorry about that. Had to call the pharmacy. Let's get back to it. And so the group decided to take a rest while the sprinkler system did its work. Watase, Kazumi, June, and Enna sat in a circle on the floor. Excuse me. No sooner had they done so than did 2 hours' worth of fatigue hit them all simultaneously, bringing a collective sigh from the group. When Watase breathed, a faint ache throbbed in his ribs that had been injured in the flashover earlier. They've been hurting for a while. Are they cracked? The group had been accumulating not just fatigue, but injuries as well. Loreweaver, Teach, you guys holding up okay? Not Kazumi, though. Don't care about her. My fingertips are a bit numb, but I'm fine. I think I'll be alright after a little rest myself. And you, Tachibana? There are no issues with me either. All that numbness in my skin went away after I took that AD. Great, that's the best news yet. Which meant that it really had been radiation exposure that was responsible for the bad shape she'd been in lately. Man, AD must be pretty damn effective if it only takes a couple seconds to kick in. That's too quick if you ask me. Tip placebo. Perhaps the negative effects of the radiation and the drug's effectiveness are just products of our imaginations. A so-called placebo, if you will. I don't think that's the case, Kazumi. But it's better to have AD. Watase glanced at his Procyon and said that. The reading had gone up again. Look, it's 3090 MSV right now. Doesn't look like it'll be long until it passes the first danger standard of 4000 MSV. Having AD will only get more and more important if that happens. It seems there were people in the Chernobyl disaster who also tried to minimize the damage from the accident in an environment over 4000 MSV. It's been rumored that the mortality rate for the workers who were in that environment was 100%. Ha! Radiation isn't real, it can't hurt you unless you believe in it! Kazumi the conspiracy theorist. Everyone's faces froze over. Wow, I know they didn't have AD back then, but still... 100%? Though we're getting used to it, 3090 MSV is still a staggering dosage of radiation under normal circumstances, isn't it? I hope Mr. Tenkawa and the others have some AD, but... Teach, don't panic. They're psychic. That means they absorb radiation like mushrooms. The fact that we've seen empty medical boxes in AD means that there's a high chance they found some too. He's right, Miss Tsubakiyama. Rushing things will only lead to more danger. Let's just rest now while we still can. Good point. Enna gave a weary smile. She'd usually been so sharp-tongued, but now, perhaps as a result of her own fatigue catching up with her, she seemed to have calmed down. Miss Tsubakiyama, this has all been really harsh on you, has it not? To be honest, yeah, in its own way. I've gotten tired from running around from place to place. And while I'm at it, I haven't eaten anything since this morning, so I'm a bit hungry. Watase then noticed his own hunger. He didn't know when the last time he'd eaten was, but his stomach felt empty. But I feel more thirsty than anything. My throat's parched from all that fire and smoke flying around, not to mention all that running and jumping. That's true. I'd like to find water if we can, and I'm going to drink some right now! Huh, I didn't take... Hang on, I didn't take my daily inhaler dose. Have to take that twice a day for my new prescription? No, it'd be best not to. Oh yeah, irradiated water. Huh? Why's that? There's a high chance that the facility's water has already been contaminated by radiation. Drinking something like that would expose your body to radiation from the inside. You shitting me? Exposed to radiation from the inside? Yeah, even AD might not protect you from that. Then that meant they'd have to go without even drinking while they were here. It'd be another 7 hours at most. I thought was quite disheartening, to say the least. Oh, jeez, why the hell did all this happen? Everything was totally normal until yesterday. I guess it's true when they say no one knows what the future holds. Excuse me. Dark clouds of depression began gradually shrouding all those there. June quickly spoke up in a cheery voice, as if to blow them away. Come on, Mr. Bakiyama. Let's stop being all gloom and doom here. It's doom and gloom, June. We'll get you and your students out of here safely. Just you wait. I'm sorry. It looks like I let everything get to me for a second there. I guess when I started thinking about the possibility that we could die in a place like this. Stop. Don't jinx us all like that. You mustn't say that. Showing weakness will only double the danger. Got that right. I'll be damned if I let a single person die here. Oh, people have already died, June. You three sure are strong. Anna hung her head down and quietly muttered that. I'm sorry for having been so rude to you up until now. Alright, how many saves can I make? 100, right? Yeah, alright. Well, if we run into the 100th save, we will loop back around and start on save 1. Save 15. Alright, what do we got? We've got Anna, Kazumi, and June. Let's side with Kazumi and June. You guys really are a fine rescue squad. Compared to you, all I'm good at is being all talk and no action with nothing to back it up. Oh no, I'm gonna shut her down, aren't I? Huh? Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. She's right. Anyone would get worked up if they were thrown into a situation like this. It's only natural. But I'll try to make sure I do as you all say from now on. Oh, I got a point for each of them. That'd be a real help. Having everyone get along like this will be more comforting than fighting all the time. Really? You see, I'm rather soft-hearted, so it really hurts to see women fighting each other. Alright, that's a little bit of a weird thing to say here. Never expected to hear you say something so pathetic. Oh, come on. Is this supposed to be a look at her, she's hot and vulnerable frame? She's too anime for that. Wow, now that's something you'd never hear the normal captain say. Did he really have this side to him? Everyone chuckled at Watase's light-hearted joke. The tension finally appeared to be loosening up. Well, since we're at it, let's talk about something cheerful. Cheerful? Is there anything cheerful to actually talk about? Hey, I've got one. You know, you've gained quite a few points in my book, Captain. Huh? I'm talking about your latest stunt. Man, you were so cool back there, huh? Alice was hotter than every girl in this visual novel, even with the toilet seat. The toilet seat accentuated her body in a way that it was very hard to look at her above the shoulders. What do you mean back there? I mean when he carried me and Yuri as you ran through that gas, of course. Oh, were you awake for that? Wait, you were awake for that? Barely. But still, it's not like you to do something so passionately. Oh, I remember that too. I remember Miss Tachibana saying, please carry those two. then you were all like, leave it to me, without even hesitating a second. Well, that's just because there was no time to think about it. Don't be modest. You were both manly and incredible. Watase felt a bit taken aback about someone calling him incredible right to his face. What's with the sudden flip-flop here? Weren't you calling me unreliable at first? Well, yeah, but now she's seen you be reliable. Later, Thor. Thanks for hanging out. Well, after seeing Captain Unreliable pull through when it really counted, he's become a rather wonderful man in my eyes. See, that's what I, save. And, yeah, let's max her dating sim value. Oh my, embarrassed? You're quite pure-hearted for your age. What's this? Are you actually hitting on the captain, Miss Tsubakiyama? Well now, am I? Yes, you are. Anna's giggle made it impossible to tell what she was truly feeling. But still, I'm sure she doesn't mean wrong. Watase was probably smiling at that thought, for Kazumi gave him a sharp glare. Captain, please don't grin to yourself like a fool when we're on duty. It's not becoming of you. Not becoming? Oh my, you sure are harsh, Miss Tachibana. Oh, I lost a Kazumi point? Damn! Yep, she's super duper harsh, especially with men. Thanks to that, she ain't popular with the guys at all, even though she's so pretty. Watch your tongue, Moribe. I'll stay high with Kazumi. That's a real shame. If I were a man, I'd never pass up someone so pretty, gallant, and competent like you. Miss Tsubakiyama, please don't join in on this too. A thought suddenly crossed Watase's mind as he heard that conversation. True, she really is beautiful. But like June had said, she definitely had a harsh attitude to her that could turn men away. I've been joking about dating sim values for the entire game, but is this actually turning into a dating sim? That is a subgenre of visual novel. He could understand why in this situation, but he had a hard time imagining what Kazumi was like in her day-to-day life. I wonder what she looks like in normal clothes. Oh, I'd say her uniform suits her better than any fashionable clothes or accessories ever could. Yeah, it really highlights her assets. Watase suddenly remembered something at that moment. Hang on. Watase suddenly remembered something at that moment, yes. Oh yeah, speaking of accessories. Watase reached into his pocket and pulled out the locket with the broken chain. He'd spotted it and picked it up by chance when Kazumi saved him back in Area 3. I've got to give this back to her. Watase pinched the locket as he thought this. It opened up when he did, revealing a photo inside. No, don't snoop! It was a picture of a sour-faced man with a somewhat stern look in his eyes. Who's this guy? Something about his face pisses me off for some reason. As Watase pondered this, she noticed! Captain! That locket, why do you have it? And it's like, let me tell you, if I swung that way, I would take my shot. Oh, sorry. I found it a while back, but I forgot to return it to you. Please give it back. Whoa! Kazumi snatched the locket away from Watase before he even had time to say anything. You saw what was inside, didn't you? What are you getting so angry for? Carrying around a photo of your boyfriend is no big deal. Wait, a boyfriend? Intriguing. Could you show it to us? No, that's an absolute negative. Oh my, quite a stubborn one. Though I didn't expect you to be so old-fashioned as to carry a locket around. That's because she hasn't taken it off in years. It's Sis's trademark. Kazumi furrowed her eyebrows at that last part. Moribe, I believe I told you to refer to me as Lieutenant when we're on duty. What's this Sis business about? You certainly don't look like sisters, and your last names are different. Oh, well, you see, we've lived real close to each other ever since I was a kid, so it's a habit of mine. Is that how you got the job? You had an in? That said, I keep telling her to keep personal affairs out of work, but as you see... Oh, come on. I can do that during a break, right, Sis? How many times must I tell you... Sheesh. Kazumi gave an exasperated sigh, and the rest of the group laughed. It was the first time since they'd arrived at this facility. No, it was the first time since Watase woke up that they'd ever had a moment of peace. But that tranquility didn't last long, for the sound of Ukita's voice soon brought them all back to reality. Hey, the sprinkler system is functioning normally. It should be safe for us to go back down now. Watase looked over to see Ukita running towards the rest of them. And at that very moment, Yuri's eyes opened. Huh? Where am I? Okay, save. Alright, Yuri. Let's keep your values high. Oh, she's awake. Thank goodness. Yuri sat up and looked around in confusion. It didn't appear there was anything wrong with her body. You inhaled some gas and passed out, but you're okay now. The captain carried you and ran all the way here. You don't remember? She was much smaller than you guys. Well, maybe not smaller than June, but she got a hefty dose and she's not used to physical exertion. Unless she's a super spy. Huh? Yuri looked back and forth between Watase and June with a bewildered look on her face. Thank you very much. Then nervously thanked them. Oh, it was nothing. Both you and June were light after all. More importantly, think you can walk? Yes, I think I'll be fine. Alright, now that Miss Yuri's awake, let's discuss what to do next. Kazumi took out her PDA and began her explanation. First, this is our current position, and the room that the ladder leads down to is... this room right here, in B1 of Area 3's outer ring. Okay. It doesn't show the... oh wait, no, it's Area N that the fires are still raging in. It's the rest of the area got the fires put out. Cool. Now that the fires in Labo have been put out, our search has become all the safer for it, and we can move around more than we could before. But there's a high probability that any AD located in areas previously engulfed in fire has been destroyed. True, but that makes things harder for us. They were down to only one AD ampule right now, but they'd almost searched the entirety of areas 1 through 4. I hope we can expand our search to Area 5, but we don't have the right card. Right, we still have yet to locate a Level 5 security card. Area 4 is as far as we can go for now. Why don't we look for a card in a place we haven't searched yet? In that case... Watase touched the PDA, causing the screen's display to twitch. Why don't we try the outer ring here first? Now that the gas is gone and we're here anyway, it's worth a shot. True, you searched it in a hurry, so you didn't find out if there was a card there or not. The only other place is B2 of Area 4's outer ring, the place where we came across Luis, right? Yeah, and the inner ring's already contaminated, so let's search those 2 blocks. The odds are slim, but we don't have a better option. Right. But I wouldn't say our chances are that bad. There may have been some Area 5 researchers who went through Area 4 to evacuate. It wouldn't be surprising for at least one of them to have dropped their card there during all that chaos this morning. I see. Then there was still hope. Starting up the sprinkler system was nothing more than a way of increasing the search field. In the end, it didn't change that the group needed to find survivors in AD. It also needs to find a towel to dry off the kids who just got drenched. And also a level 5 card to progress onwards and an exit. Very well then. Everyone, I apologize to have to end your rest here, but let's press on just a little bit more. All right. The 3 survivors all gave a firm nod. Everyone's probably getting exhausted, but no one showed any signs of that on their faces. It seemed the prior incident had managed to bring the group closer together. Close enough together that it's cutting off Ukita's head. But don't push yourselves, guys. Say something if you're not feeling well. Ease up, we'll be fine. Salve. Excuse me. Okay, June. We'll keep June's values high. The group headed towards the ladder, while feeling a sense of trust behind those words. They went out into the hall to find that all of the fire, smoke, and gas were now gone. The sprinkler system stuff has all been drained now, so there's no problem. Okay, let's check the gates in this area first. Everyone, please be cautious about the possibility of leftover gas for now. If anything smells even the slightest bit strange, please get out of there. Everyone nodded. The group split up and began searching the area. But then June spoke up. Hold on, Captain. Do you know where the room that was on fire is? Yeah, it's that one further down over there. What about it? Do you mind helping me search it? I want to play it safe, just in case something happens. Watase could feel a slight hint of nervousness in June's voice. It hasn't been that long since she fainted. Oh no, is having her dating sim value high gonna make me say, no, do it yourself, you can do it? No, maybe the reason she was trying to be so proactive was in order to get rid of the fear she still felt from that incident. Once he realized what she was thinking, Watase nodded. Sure, but be careful. There might still be some gas here. Roger. Watase and June fired themselves up and went into the room. Well, that's a mess. Where'd all the... Huh. Why is there a ladder in here? It had completely burned to a crisp. June looked around the scorched room and quietly spoke. Looks like the fire's been completely put out, but still. Any card that was in here must have been burned to ashes. Watase was about to leave the room, but spotted some documents at his feet before he could. They were sopping wet from the sprinkler's extinguishing agents, so the letters were blurred, but he could still read the word disaster on the front. What's this? Let me see. Watase and June picked it up and drew their heads close so they could look over it together. Labo Fire Incident, July 10th, 2021. All relevant parties are most likely aware of the fire that occurred in this facility 3 days ago, July 7th, 2021. Although the worst possible outcome was averted at the last moment, there were inadequacies found in multiple text too blurred to make out. This document contains a compilation of the problems hinted at by this incident. The cause of the fire, text too blurred to make out, of Senior Fellow S. S has been appointed as an administrator of, text tube learned to make out. As a result, he had quite a great number of opportunities to come into contact with the research results, text tube learned to make out. S, huh? And about 3 months later, S could... text tube learned to make out. He took the power generator gasoline stored, set them all on fire, and intentionally caused them. He also unrow. This is nothing more than a guess, seeing is quite high. Furthermore, these research results, designated as N amongst... Also, while this is not directly, 2 children infiltrated the facility on the day of the incident at a most unfortunate time. For children to have found and exploited a hole in our security, this is quite frankly the epitome of carelessness for our security systems, and 2 lives were lost as a result. We must all learn a lesson from this incident. Strengthening E alone doesn't guarantee us any safety whatsoever. There is an urgent need to have the specifications of a case N reviewed and for the security systems to be enhanced. Otherwise, we may foresee yet another repeat of this tragedy. Mike and Biological Organization Security Chief Isao Kawada. It's 2030 in this game. Okay. It appeared to be a record regarding a fire that had happened in the facility in the past. 2021. June muttered that in a grim voice. When did this game come out? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2030 now, right? Yeah, that was 9 years ago, huh? Do you remember that fire at all? Well, I was in elementary school at the time, but yeah, I vaguely remember hearing about it. This came out in 2012. Okay. So 9 years ago, there was a deliberately set fire and 2 kids died. Is that why Anna is here? She has something to do with those kids? Is Kazumi's locket a picture of the security chief who did it? Is it a picture of the gun zombie? Huh. I think a kid died, but it was the uproar that happened after the fire, rather than the fire itself, that was more memorable. What do you mean? That kid was taken to the hospital afterwards and died, but there were all these scandalous stories about it at first. Stuff like the kid died of radiation exposure, or the fire caused a radiation leak. What? Well, there was only a few people who made such a big fuss out of it, and the stories were soon dismissed as rumors, but the part about the kid dying is true. That sure isn't easy to think about. Yeah, 2021 was a real bad year. Oh no. Oh, buddy. Oh, God. Oh, man. Eesh, buddy, you have no idea. Screen cap? Alright. Whoops, I just hit control. June looked back at the report. The fact that they said the worst possible outcome was averted means that a case N probably didn't happen back then. The disaster did end up repeating itself anyway. Watase and June's voices were tinged with bitterness. The security systems must never have been enhanced. Let's make sure that there's at least no more victims this time around. There have already been victims, Watase. Damn straight. We'll save everyone and get the hell out of here. Watase and June nodded at each other and left the room. body! Oh, that bodes ill. A thought crossed Watase's mind as he ran through the Area 4 connecting passageway. Loreweaver's absolutely right. Just because the sprinkler system is finally on doesn't mean that the survivors are safe. If they'd been in an area that had been on fire up until a few minutes ago, there was a big chance they'd already burned to death. The fear of being cornered by flames had now been replaced with the fear that the flames had already cornered someone else. I just hope the survivors escaped to Area 5. Well, they had a level 5 security card, so presumably we saw somebody go through the door to Area 5. So, if nothing else, I hope that we can at least find a card in Area 4. For us to finally go into a new area, only to find bodies. Yeah, I'd rather not have that outcome. Well, the name of the section is Body, so we probably will. Everyone else was probably thinking the same thing. The group said nothing and continued running down the halls. They soon arrived at B2 of Area 4's outer ring. The hall had been horribly damaged from the flashover that had scorched it earlier. The Procyon's alarm beeped. It's reading at 5,322 MSV. Oh, so we're in the danger zone even with the AD. As long as they had AD in their system, all of them could probably handle that level. The hallway itself may be in terrible condition, but the rooms should still be intact. Okay, Sabe. Alright, what do we got? Kazumi. We will keep Kazumi's datings and values at max. Let's split up and search the larger rooms, hallways, and the elevator hall. What about the inner ring? Last time we checked, it was a contaminated zone. If we don't find anything here, we may have no choice but to venture there. I'll search it if it comes to that. What are you talking about? Aren't you forgetting you spent a whole hour without a proper shot of AD? Your cumulative exposure must be really high now. Consider your own body for a bit. If it comes to it, then I'll search the contaminated zone. Captain. I saw that smile. Understood. At any rate, let's focus on searching the outer ring for now. Kazumi then began rapidly issuing off orders. Captain, Miss Tsubakiyama, please cover the hallways in the elevator hall. Everyone else will search the large rooms with me. You sure the two of us will be enough? Yes. After all, I believe you've finally gotten used to this. Hang on. What is S jump? Whoops. That jumps to the next choice. Ah. Kazumi then began rapidly issuing off orders. Captain, Miss Tsubakiyama, please cover the hallways in the elevator hall. Everyone else will search the large rooms with me. You sure the two of us will be enough? Yes. After all, I believe you've finally gotten used to this. All right, roger that. Kazumi had a point. Two people were probably enough to just take care of the hallways and elevator hall. Watase and Enna immediately got to searching the outer ring. There's probably a body in the elevator hall. They silently walked through the hallway. Then the normally loudmouthed Enna was surprisingly quiet. Another bad thought hit Watase's mind as the silence took hold of him. What if they looked around a corner while searching for a card and instead found only a burnt corpse? Watase just stood there, stricken by that thought. Dumbass, stop thinking stupid shit like that. Rounds a corner and there's a charred corpse. However, he couldn't rid his mind of that horrid fantasy. He and Enna finished searching the hallways and headed on over to the elevator hall. When they approached the door... Oh, what's this smell? Anna sniffed the air. Huh? Come on, don't you smell something delicious? Oh, she's about to pass out, and his face had frozen over before she could finish. Oh no, the smell is of a charred corpse. Just then, Watase's nose took hold of that smell. His mouth started watering, and his stomach started rumbling. Both conditioned reflexes to that particular scent. But Watase was shuddering, because the something delicious that he and Anna were smelling was the scent of grilled meat. No, please, no. The smell was That's morbid, right? Like, smelling something and calling it out as delicious and then realizing it's a human body is... Oh. That's... Oof. That's an oof writing in a good way. The smell was wafting in from behind the door to the elevator hall. Don't tell me that smell is... Watase opened the door with hands that were shaking like crazy. Oh boy. He's only half burnt? And spotted the source of the smell. Hollow gasps escaped from Watase and Enna's mouths. Their hunger instantly turned to nausea. Legs burnt to charcoal. Melted body fat dripping to the floor. I hate to focus on this, but I do see a card on the floor. A horribly charred protection suit. A fire axe gripped firmly in the hand. Rescue squad equipment. He didn't recognize their face, but he could tell with a glance that this was their other squad mate who'd went to the basement. It's who'd gone to the basement, translators. Hiyama. Hiyama! A scream burst out from deep within his lungs. Hiyama! Hey, Hiyama! Watase ran over to him and called his name, but naturally, the body didn't even twitch. I think I could live with losing my lower half. It would suck, but I think I could live with that. I don't think I could live with losing my hands. That would cut me off from so much of my life. So I guess it's the top half of my body that I'm more scared of. He'd already known from the moment he'd seen him that it was far too late. Watase then heard voices and footsteps rapidly approaching from behind. What happened? Watase's scream had sent Kazumi and June running over. He paid them no heed and touched Hiyama's body. He could tell how rigid the latter was, even through the protection suit. It's too late. He's already dead. Watase's proclamation was followed by cries of grief. No! No! Hiyama, not you too! He could hear June's tearful voice echo behind him. Watase couldn't feel sad. He just searched Hiyama's body with gloomy clouds shrouding his heart. Hiyama's legs had been bent into strange shapes at his knees. His legs were broken. He'd probably been trying to escape from the fire to the bitter end. He came across the inferno in Area 4, got caught on fire, and yet crawled all the way over to the elevator hall, trying to cling on to whatever life he had left. And then breathed his last at this spot. Hiyama! Watase lamented at the death of the squad mate he didn't even remember. And next to the body, lying there as if it were Hiyama's last will and testament to his squad mates, was a security card that read, Level 6? Oh, we don't need any more security cards. Several minutes later, the group left the elevator hall and gathered in front of it. Ukita and Yuri had also been told of Hiyama's death. Anna remained speechless for a while and barely managed to make out a few words. I'm sorry for your loss. Ukita gazed at Watase as his body shook in fear, then spoke. How did this ever happen? Yuri said nothing. She just quietly leaned against June. It's okay, Yuri. June gently wrapped her arms around Yuri's shoulders, but the look on her face only made Yuri more depressed. Kazumi soon looked at the rest of the group with red eyes, then wrung out her voice and said, Dying in the line of duty is an unavoidable risk in this line of work. But Tachibana... Please, don't say anything, Captain. Yeah, it would be pretty rough to hear any kind of commiseration coming from the amnesiac captain who should be as broken up about it as you are. Denison values high. Kazumi looked at Watase and spoke. We can save our grief for after we've rescued the survivors and gotten outside. But for now, we mustn't. Her voice shook and her eyes were filled with sorrow. Watase swallowed the words on the tip of his tongue and settled for a whisper of an answer instead. Yeah. When he thought about her feelings, he realized that no words could ever console the pain she had to be going through. You have to do the same, Moribe. June spoke in a teary voice after Kazumi called out to her. Man, they really liked this one. But today was the first time I've ever lost a coworker on the job. This is the second time this has happened today, June. And now it's happened again. I know, but you have to hold your head high. You discarded your womanhood when you joined Sirius. Remember that. Alright, that's a little sexist. But, sis... June choked back a sob. Kazumi didn't scold her for calling her sis. Tachibana, Moribe, they can't take much more of this. Well, fortunately, I don't think there's any more of their co-workers that they can find dead. Even the ever-firm and reliable Kazumi was failing to hide the tremors in her voice. And yet, here Watase was, not even sad about his co-worker's death. God damn it, I have to say something. But anything he said would just be rubbing salt in his squad mate's wounds. I'm going to lower my self-esteem values to medium. Watase gritted his teeth in frustration, but then Enno whispered into his ear. What are you doing, Captain Kasasagi? You have to get a hold of yourself. Can I really lead them with my amnesia? Oh, that gave me -1 Enna point? Watase stood in utter bewilderment, but then Enna turned to him with irritation in her eyes. Speak up. You're a man, aren't you? And a captain, right? And you're the only one who can lead us all, aren't you? It doesn't matter if you've got amnesia or whatever. Man up. It was those words that finally brought Watase to an epiphany. No, now that I think about it, that was always my role. Unlocked 50% of music tracks in music. Oh, huh. It was he, the only one not sad about Hiyama's death, who had to lead the group in Kazumi's place. Despite her protests to the contrary, it was clear she was deeply saddened. Anyone would be after losing 2 squad mates whom they'd held so dear in just one day. But she can't show it because she needs to put on a brave face for all the survivors here. And because our mission isn't over yet. What would the survivors think if the rescue squad all broke down in sorrow and grief? Ena, Ukita, and Yuri? They would definitely feel that the situation was hopeless. They'd almost certainly descend into despair. Then I have to be strong. Oh, lowering my self-esteem was a mistake. Stronger than anyone. I must be stronger than anyone, both as a man and as the captain of the squad. Even if it was a role he knew nothing about. Even if he didn't have confidence in his abilities because of his lack of memories. I am a rescue squad captain. I am Watase Kasasagi, the man who Tachibana and Moribe look up to. The moment he thought that, a raging fire ignited in Watase's heart. A fire that had been lit by Kazumi and Jun's tears, as well as Ena's words. Tachibana, Moribe, can I have a minute? Huh? The two of them walked over to Watase with forlorn footsteps. Watase looked Kazumi dead in the eye and spoke. We're changing leaders. I'll lead the group from this point onwards. Captain? Kazumi and Jun couldn't hide their bewilderment. Oh, come on, I'm just restoring the status quo, that's all. I'll be the leader for now until you've both calmed down. Let me shoulder all the weight you've been carrying so far. Anyway, just rely on me for a while. Especially you, Tachibana. You've been carrying far too heavy a burden up until now. Kazumi fell quiet in what appeared to be hesitation. Didn't you hear me? Then let me make it an order, as serious as captain. Watase clicked his heels and spoke in a sharp voice. As of this point onwards, Lieutenant Kazumi Tachibana and Ensign Jun Moribe will hereby defer to Captain Watase Kasasagi's command. Oh, this is a rough way to take control, Watase. Those words came very naturally out of Watase's mouth. Kazumi and Jun's bodies trembled. Now let me hear you say it. And like that, strength instantly returns to Kazumi and Jun's eyes. They both clicked their heels and replied. Sir, Lieutenant Kazumi Tachibana deferring to Captain Watase Kasasagi's command, sir. Ensign Jun Moribe deferring to Captain's command, sir. Good. Watase smiled and gave them both a pat on the shoulder. And there you have it. Well, that was mainly for formality's sake. I'm still counting on you both to basically keep things running the way they've been so far. I still have amnesia, like it or not. But my strength and spirit are the same that they've always been. So let's work ourselves to the bone without worrying about the chain of command. You just invoked the chain of command! He said that in the friendliest voice he could muster in an attempt to relieve their tension. But Kazumi responded meekly. Yes, please. Good. Then now that we've finally got our hands on a level 6 card, let's use it to press onwards. Hiyama left that card for us. We can't let it go to waste. Alright, what do we got? June. Dating sim value high. It is kind of easier to operate under duress if someone else is calling the shots formally. That's a fair point. And I guess these two are used to Watase giving commands, so seeing him take control of the situation is comforting. June quietly nodded at that. You're right. You can't keep staying down in the dumps forever. June turned to the others and spoke in a voice brimming with bravado. The fires are out, and we've got a card, so now we can go all the way to Area 6. We have nothing to fear, except for all the radiation. And the mushroom children. The psychic mushroom children, which is still very strange. Yeah, that's the spirit. And besides, isn't your catchphrase, June's the name and rescues my game? Sheesh, I can't believe I almost forgot that. And possibly the gun zombies, you're right. Thanks, Captain. June's eyes had regained their natural spark. Don't sweat it. Keeping his subordinate spirits up is a captain's job. Watase said that with a smile, then turned back to Ukita and the others. Really sorry to keep you all waiting. Think you can keep going? And whatever bisected Kazumi that one time, I think she was bisected by the explosion. Yes, I'll be fine. Ready when you are. No problems here. Yes. Watase nodded when he heard their answers. Kazumi then gently placed a hand on his shoulder. Thank you so much, Captain. And said that with a wide smile. One that seemed sad and yet mixed with a small hint of joy. They decided to leave Hiyama's body where it was. They set his axe against the door as a gravestone of sorts. And with that, the elevator hall had become his temporary tomb. Is that the end of Chapter 3? And so, with Watase now leading them, the group all headed for Area 5. Alright. I am very hungry. I'm going to make myself a snack, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Alright, well that was a little less filling than I was hoping it would be, but I'm back. Let's continue. And so, with Wantasei now leading them, the group all headed for Area 5. The card slot at the B2 security gate had been incinerated, so they went back up to B1 and opened the door that had remained shut up until now. Oh, excuse me. Wantasei checked his trachyon as soon as it opened. Please. If it was a contaminated zone, then everything would have been for nothing. However, the reading was 3451 MSV, within the safety standard. Alright, let's go. Hurry up, guys. He's right. That security camera footage showed that Mr. Tenkawa and the others ran this way. Kazumi's eyebrows twitched when she heard the survivors' names. You're right that there's a high possibility that the survivors are just up ahead. Right? Now that we don't have to worry about fires anymore, we can put finding the survivors and AD above all else. June's voice also had a trace of hope to it. Though both of them were still recovering from the shock, it seemed that they were slowly returning to normal. Thank God. Wantasei grinned slightly and walked through the connecting passageway. And then entered Area 5. Area 5, Outer Ring, B1. The walls and the ceiling were both white, making the place a bright and sanitary block. Wow, this place is like a whole other world compared to everywhere else we've been. Feels kind of like a hospital, doesn't it? Well, hopefully it is, and there's a bunch of AD here. The fact that it was overly clean and had a somewhat cold atmosphere was indeed reminiscent of a hospital. It's probably just server racks and stuff. Hey, old man, what do they do here? This is the laboratory section where the senior fellows, in other words, the high-leveled researchers, conduct experiments. This division has far more advanced equipment than we junior fellows, normal researchers that is, have in our laboratories. There's a ton of rooms here, so I guess it'd be better if we split up. Or is this going to be a self-esteem roll, or is this going to be a trust roll? It's a trust roll. Let's trust her. Dating sim values maxed. Then how will the teams be divided? How about we go with virtually the same formation we used in Area 4? Moribe and Teach will be with me, Tachibana will be with the old man and Yuri. Yes, that works fine. But even though he'd been the one to suggest it, Wantasei was a bit concerned that Kazumi wouldn't be with him. He walked over to her and whispered, Tachibana, you sure you're okay? Do not worry. More importantly than that, please take care of Moribe. All right, then we'll search the inner ring. Roger that, we'll handle the outer ring. Roger. Then shall we go? Wantasei's group then headed for the inner ring right away. Area 5, inner ring, B1. Enna started talking to herself in a low voice as they walked down the halls. The fires are out, so it's a lot easier to search now, but... oh, it's the kids. Okay. I have the chance to up the kids' values. Huh. Excuse me. What do I want to do here? Let's max the kids' values. The fires are out, so it's a lot easier to search now, but... Huh? I wonder if Mr. Tenkawa and the others are okay. There was a small ring of impatience in her voice. Her concern had probably been reignited after having come across yet another body. So you really are worried about your students, aren't you? Did I just get like +3 points with her? Or no, where's Enna on that anagram? Well, of course, the fact that I'm a teacher is part of it, but Mr. Tenkawa and Miss Toba in particular are dear to me. Sounds like you get along with them really well on a personal level. Indeed, I know a teacher shouldn't have favorites. No, a teacher should not have favorites. But whenever I see those two, all I can think about is what charming kids they are. I think they'd make a cute couple. It feels weird to ship your students, Anna. It was at that point that June cut in. I know what you mean. Natsuhiko and Mashiro are good kids. Come to think of it, didn't you say you also knew those kids when we saw the security footage, Moribe? That's right. We only just met a few days ago, but we hit it off really well. In what context? But there was something about her choice of words that caught Watase's interest. Feels weird, but teachers do enjoy doing that. I suppose they've got to get some entertainment out of the kids. Hey, what about the other girl? You know, the one we saw earlier, that Sanamiya girl. Oh, her? Honestly, there's a lot I don't know about her myself. Why's that? You see, the thing is, she only transferred into Rokume Academy about a week ago. Though it looks like she became fast friends with Mr. Tenkawa and Miss Toba. I see. She's a super spy. Why had she run away from the rescue squad as soon as she saw them? It made even less sense when one considered that her own teacher had been with them too. So even if Teach doesn't know the answer to that, then I'd like to meet her in person and ask her what kind of girl she is. Good idea. I'd like her to keep attending school with everyone in the future as well. Alrighty, then why don't we do away with the chatter and make do with the searching? Damn straight. The group then picked up the pace. They checked all the rooms in the inner ring. Though this was the Senior Fellows Laboratory Division, the rooms didn't look much different from the labs and offices they'd seen in the other areas, so the devs didn't have to commission more art. There are 4 kids total. They didn't find any survivors or AD. But the last room they visited was clearly different from every other room in the facility. Ah, infirmary. Huh? Isn't this an infirmary? Seems like the place they might keep AD, don't you think? And even if they don't, we might find something useful in here. Search the place. Right. The group fired themselves up and began looking through the room. There are 3 female students and a 4th male student. The male student is one of the ones they were talking about, who June and Enna have both known for a while. Well, I guess June hasn't known them for a while, but, one of the missing students is the transfer student. One of them is a female student who's been here for a while, and the 4th is Yuri, who is full of mystery. The group fired themselves up and began looking through the room. As expected, there were multiple medical devices lying around. There was a medical bed, a small oxygen tank and respirator, and a blood transfusion kit. There was also something that looked like a giant closet. Could it be... Watase reached out for the closet and opened it. A cold wave blew out of it when he did. It seemed it was not a closet, but rather a refrigerator. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Inside were bags with red liquids, each bag labeled either A, B, O, or AB. Man, there was a tragic story that hit the news about a month ago where a janitor at a major research facility turned off a refrigeration unit that was storing 25-year-long research samples because he found the sound annoying. Ruined 25 years of research in a moment as it warmed up and ruined the materials. Absolutely atrocious. Oh, you heard about that too, Zap? Yeah. God, what a tragedy that is. Yeah, I hope he was turbo-fired. Blood packets. The fridge was apparently used to store blood until it was needed for a transfusion. Are we going to need a transfusion? So this is basically your run-of-the-mill doctor's office, like one you'd find in a hospital. But that was it. There wasn't any AD in it at all. Watase gave up and closed the fridge. And now for the freezer! Find anything, Captain? Nope, nothing. We've got a respirator set up and a transfusion kit if we ever need it, but nothing we can use right now. I should ask my doctors to find out what my blood type is. I have no idea. And I've wondered off and on for like 15 years now. And just never bothered to ask. Same here. There's a ton of empty AD ampules, but not a single full one. June held out an empty ampule and medical box. The janitor was a temp. His agency told him very little about the location he was working in and very undertrained him. Yeah, I'll say. Why would you shut that? Why would you shut off a device that you don't know anything about in a research facility, though? June held out an empty ampule and medical box. The researchers and other staff had most likely taken them and run during the evacuation. Great, all that looking for nothing. Well, Natsuhiko and gang might have taken the AD that was here. If so, then this is a good sign. No, we can't be optimistic. That doesn't necessarily mean they found enough. Just then, Enna spoke up. Oh, speaking of which, it's not AD, but I did find something good. Huh? See? Got some Chiron here. Styptic Chiron for burns? Enna showed them a tube full of medicine. The label read Styptic Chiron. Underneath was the name of the manufacturer, Beetlejuice New Treatments. What's that? Pretty much the god of all ointments. It closes small wounds so well, it's like they're glued shut. Wow, sounds useful. Indeed. Let's all take one each. Yeah, I think a decent amount of blame should be heaped on the temp agency, but not all of it. The guy did something really, really stupid. Anna said that, then distributed the Chiron amongst the three of them. But it looks like that's the only thing we found here. Well, that's just luck for you. Anyway, let's get back to the outer ring, pronto. Yes, let's. The group then left the infirmary. Watase's group went back to the outer ring through the connecting passageway. Emergency evacuation, huh? And when they got there, they heard the sound of Kazumi's group's voice echoing in the hallway. I keep telling you, it's too dangerous to drink that. But my thirst is at its limits. Honestly, it's getting tough for me too. You can go without water for a few hours, guys. Reaches down, grabs his water jug and drinks. It seemed they were arguing about something, so Watase's group ran over and intervened. What's going on? Did you find some AD? Captain, no, we didn't find any AD or survivors, but we found this. Ukita then showed the rest of the group what he held between his arms. They were 6 plastic 500 milliliter bottles that read distilled water. Just enough for everyone. Water? You found water? Yes, though it appears to be water meant for mixing with medicine. Yet distilled water is really bad for your teeth, as far as I'm aware. But I've been telling him not to drink it, because there's a possibility that it'll give us radiation exposure from the inside. However, everyone gulped when they saw the water. Just as Ukita and Yuri said, their throats were parched like a desert. Oh, the water is perfectly healthy to drink, but I've been told that it leaches minerals out of your teeth or something. It's not a huge deal, but just as Ukita and Yuri said, their throats were parched like a desert. True, they couldn't be sure it was safe to drink, but it's probably risky, but I want to drink it anyway. You too? No, I think she's right, in fact. We found these in a metal medicine cabinet, so the possibility that they've been contaminated by radiation is extremely low. And naturally, there's a 0% chance that there's any atomic dust in them. It's completely separate from the tap water that way. Now that he mentioned it, Kazumi had said earlier that there was a chance that the water in the facility was contaminated by radiation. But that was tap water she'd been talking about. Water that was openly exposed to that radiation. The water in the plastic bottles was, in theory, safe, just as Ukita had said. Okay, so I'm pretty sure there's a choice that's coming up to let them drink the water or not let them drink the water. And let's weigh the possibilities. Both Watsonian and Doylist. So the water is probably safe. It's probably safe. But this is a story, so it could basically go either way. And I'm wondering, if it is bad, will they keel over relatively quickly and me get a bad ending? Or will it continue on for a long time? And then I'll have to start over back here. But then not drinking it could lead to a bad situation as well. From a meta perspective, Excuse me. Okay, let's proceed. Then, isn't it okay for us to drink it, Tachibana? But if there's even the slightest chance that it isn't... just quit complaining already. Anna said that and snatched a plastic bottle out of Ukita's hands. Oh, right. Okay. Come on, you horny devs. Quit with the titty pandering. Anna unscrewed the cap and took a giant swig of the water before Kazumi even had time to stop her. But a second later, she started choking. It's not water, is it? Teach? Was there something bad in there? You drink water with your boobs, it's just science. Just pour them down there, wet t-shirt contest, absorb it through your skin. I just drank way too much too quickly, so some of it got stuck in my throat, that's all. The group all breathed a sigh of relief. Anyway, why don't the rest of you join in? The taste is to die for. I never knew that water could taste this good. Anna broke out into an entranced smile. This only caused more and more people to give in to their desires. I'll have some too. Me too. With that, Ukita and Yuri suddenly snapped into action by taking their own plastic bottles and drinking them. Kazumi let out a defeated shout. She'd probably realized that no fear of internal radiation exposure could keep them away from the allure of water. Sorry, Tachibana, but I'm gonna have some too. Me too. I suppose it can't be helped. Well, it does indeed seem safe. Kazumi also caved in. In the end, everyone took a plastic bottle for themselves. They unscrewed the caps with trembling hands and drank away while being careful not to choke on it. Fresh water was soaking into Watase's parched throat. Even though the water was at room temperature and therefore not cold at all, it was unbelievably tasty. I feel alive again. Yeah, it makes me want to cry tears of joy. Now that we've quenched our thirst, let's get back to talking about the search, shall we? Kazumi said this in a slightly uncomfortable voice. The rest of the group all promptly nodded. We only found water in the outer ring, but what about the inner ring, T? Zilch, just some medical ointment. So in the end, this block was a dud, huh? What about downstairs? Everyone's shoulders slumped at Enna's comment. Or maybe we are downstairs. What about the upstairs? Come on, guys. Don't get so down in the dumps. Let's keep on searching. Then let's go check B2 of this area. Oh yeah, light, downstairs. I told you. We'll use the emergency staircase to get down there. It's probably going to be out, isn't it? The group started walking again after finishing that discussion. But when they got to the staircase, Watase noticed something odd about the wall in front of it. Huh? Located on the wall was a small plate that read, Emergency. Right below it was a keypad of sorts with 10 buttons labeled from 0 to 9. Hey, hold on a sec, guys. Huh? What do you think this is? The group turned to Watase and gathered around the keypad. What indeed? I don't know. Maybe it's an emergency telephone line or something? Watase randomly pressed the buttons. But nothing happened. He didn't hear any dialing or anything. If it's a phone, then it looks like it's broken, doesn't it? Guess this means every last communication device was wiped out. We shouldn't dwell on something that doesn't work. Let's go. Good point. Something disastrous is going to happen, isn't it? Watase nodded and was about to walk off. But Yuri didn't budge an inch. She stared firmly at the emergency plate. Huh? Is something wrong, Yuri? Save. Alright, what do we got? Let's keep her values high. Yuri turned around in surprise at Watase's voice. Something about it catch your eye? No, I'm just a little tired, that's all. Now that she mentioned it, Yuri's face was a little pale. You okay? Would you like to find a place to rest? And just as Watase asked that, what are you guys doing? I'm going on ahead, you know. Anna said that and entered the stairwell. Watase ignored her and spoke to Yuri in the kindest voice he could manage. Just hang in there. We'll be out of here before you know it. Okay. Her voice was frail, but she still obeyed Watase. Watase and Yuri headed towards the outer ring stairwell with the rest of the group, Anna already out of sight. The room was pitch black. He couldn't see Anna anymore. She must have already gone downstairs. Hey, why is it so dark in here? It appears the fluorescent lights are dead. Please, watch your step, people. The group obeyed and slowly descended the staircase. But when he had made it just halfway... What's that? Oh, it's about to collapse. Watase felt a tremor at his feet and instinctively came to a halt. And right after that... Yeah! What's happening? Alright. Oh, boy. We're gonna trust Kazumi. What's happening? The staircase is starting to lean? Everyone, turn back! The staircase is collapsing! Run! Hurry! Watase and the others ran up the stairs. And just when they'd all made it to the top, the staircase tore apart with a thunderous roar. That was too close. Watase's voice was faint. The group had just barely escaped from the collapsing staircase with their lives. I never expected that the staircase would collapse on us. Is there any way we can go down from there? Watase took a look into the stairwell. But the collapsed stairs blocked the door, meaning it was unlikely they could get to the other side. Hey, Teach, can you hear me? However, there was no reply. It seemed she'd gone to some other room to continue with the search. Crap, we're completely cut off from Teach. That's why I warned everyone not to go off on their own. No choice. Let's use the inner ring's emergency staircase to regroup with her. That's probably going to be out too. We'll have to go through Area 6 to find her. The group nodded and headed for the inner ring. But the staircase there had also collapsed. Guess we'll have to go down from another area? Yes, then... Kazumi took out her PDA and began muttering to herself. This staircase and that staircase are out of commission. She placed X marks on the staircases on the map. So we'll have to take a detour through Area 6. Let's go. Shine, do you remember what the map button is? Is it M? Excuse me. So we'll have to take a detour through Area 6. Let's go. The group nodded again and headed for Area 6 this time. But thanks to the fire, the security slot that controlled the gate to Area 6 was out of order. Oh, are we gonna be... You can always use H to bring up the list of commands. Okay. M is main menu. Glad I didn't press that. N is map. Okay. I got an achievement for opening the map? Come on. Okay, so inner ring card key is broken. What about the outer ring card key? The security slot that controlled the gate to Area 6 was out of order. Sliding the card into it did nothing. Luck's just not on our side. Let's try the outer rings gate. Watase added another X mark on his PDA's map and headed for the outer ring. Oh, maybe this is a bad end where we're trapped up here. But the connecting passageway to the outer ring was buried in rubble. We're trapped! The passageway was completely blocked off by collapsed pieces of ceiling and walls. We had to go down the stairs. Now we're trapped! And we're going to just have to sit here and die. And on top of all that, it appeared that the hole in the ceiling didn't connect to the surface floors. Crap, this is really bad, isn't it? Kazumi gritted her teeth and checked her PDA. We could go all the way around and come to Area 6 via Area 1. Both connecting passageways to Area 6 won't work, and the staircases are out. Meaning we have no way to get down to B2, huh? Couldn't we go through the B2 Area 4 route? Unfortunately, the outer ring's card slot there was burned in the fire. And the inner ring's a contaminated zone. Wait, you're not saying... Yeah, we've hit a dead end. Watase gritted his teeth. All their ways forward were completely cut off. I'm worried about Teach. We've got to find a way downstairs. We don't have a choice. What if we use the connecting passageway in the contaminated zone? No, it's too dangerous to bring everyone through a contaminated zone. What should we do? This is a conundrum. If only the elevators were working. Ukita bemoaned this in a voice devoid of hope. But that comment suddenly lit a light bulb in Watase's mind. Huh? Wait, we might be able to get down through there. Oh, the elevator shaft. Huh? From where? This way. Follow me. Past the body of our grilled associate. Watase then ran off, with the rest of the group following close behind. He finally stopped at the elevator hall. Hey, Captain, you do remember the elevators aren't working, right? I know, but maybe, just maybe. Hopefully they're on the top floor instead of in the basement floors. Watase clasped the elevator doors and pried them open. The elevator car was apparently resting on the surface floors. Hell yeah! Watase looked into the elevator shaft, then yelled. Yes, I was right! There was a ladder there. Oh, awesome, so I did do the right thing. We probably would have all died if I'd trusted Ena more than Kazumi. There was a ladder there. This is a maintenance ladder. Yes, it does look like we could use this to get down. It's a long way down, though. You guys sure you'll be okay with that? I think I can make it, so long as I don't look down. Good. Then let's go down one at a time. But Yuri's face went as white as a sheet at that moment. I can't climb down from this high up. Don't worry, Miss Yuri. We'll back you up. Okay, how are we going to get her down? How are we going to get her down? Do I lower my trust with her? Or do I... Okay, would high values with Yuri right now mean doing what she wants? Or mean being able to persuade her to go down? It's a crapshoot with this game. We'll keep it high. See what happens. She's right. Just hang in there. But there was no way they could leave Yuri there. It was too dangerous to split the group up any further. Okay, if you can't get down on your own, then how about I carry you on my back when I climb down? Huh? Yuri stared at Watase with wide eyes. Uh-oh, is she going to reject me again? Watase grew nervous for a moment, but after hesitating for a second... you have to be right back during the blood fridge. What did I miss? The staircase collapsed. Anna is on the other side because she ran ahead. And we're about to go down an elevator shaft. Yuri nodded. Okay. Please be careful. Of course. Leave it to me. Then I'll go down before the both of you and wait on standby at the bottom, just in case something goes wrong. Moribe and Mr. Ukita, go down first, and please look for Miss Tsubaki Yama. Roger. Alright, I'll do it. So with that, the group decided to head down to B2 through the elevator shaft. One second, turn on the lights for the room, because it's winter in Maine and the sun goes down at 4 p.m. Jun and Ukita went first, followed by Kazumi. Their voices soon echoed up from the bottom. Okay, we're going on ahead. Get down here as soon as you can. Roger that. Okay then, Captain, your turn. After listening to all that, Watase and Yuri got ready to go down. Okay, Yuri, let's go. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Yuri silently wrapped her hands around Watase's neck. Well, that's oddly worded. Watase made sure her body was held securely by the rope, then leapt into the shaft. Normally you'd write that as wrapped her arms around his neck. He then slowly descended the ladder. He could feel Yuri's body trembling slightly through his back. Yuri, are you scared? Yes. Don't worry, trust me. Yuri didn't answer. She just held on tight to Watase's neck so she could keep steady. Watase climbed down the ladder slowly so that his body rocked as little as possible. A short time later, Yuri whispered into his ear. I'm not heavy, am I? You're like 12. Watase's cracked ribs suddenly started hurting again when she asked this, but he didn't let that show. Nope, you're pretty light. I bet I could carry another 10 of you and still be okay. Watase thought he heard Yuri let out a faint chuckle. The air grew silent again. Yuri spoke up again, as if she hated that silence. Captain Kasasagi, can I ask you a question? Sure, fire away. It feels like you're always worrying about me. Why is that? Oh, does it make you uncomfortable? No, not at all. It's just, I'm a total stranger to you, so why? Watase was happy that Yuri was actively striking up a conversation with him for the first time since they'd met. Clearly, she knows him from the way she reacted to him when they first met and the way she's been acting around him ever since. So after thinking about it for a while, he answered honestly. You might think I'm crazy after hearing this, but I heard this voice when I first saw you. A voice? It told me to save you. It wasn't Tachibana or Moribe's voice. It felt like it was echoing from inside my head. And now she thinks you're crazy, Watase. It's not like I obeyed the voice. But when I first met you, I felt this mysterious yet powerful desire to save you. Yuri didn't say anything. Watase felt a tinge of embarrassment come over him. Yep, I knew it sounded crazy. It was like I was hearing an auditory hallucination or something like that. No, that's not it. If you had to ask me, I think that might have been the third man factor. What's that? Well, I read about it in a book. But keep climbing down the ladder. I know we're having a conversation, but don't stop. When people are thrown into extreme situations, such as disasters or accidents, they say that they hear a voice that isn't actually there. Huh, so something like that actually exists? They also say that the voice is always telling that person what actions they should take. There have been many reported cases of this phenomenon all over the world, usually from people who survived being stuck on a snowy mountain. Am I a psychic mushroom person? Sure is a strange phenomenon, that's for sure. Wonder why it happens. After considering what Yuri had just told him, Watase suddenly remembered something. Wait, could that be an example of that, what did Teach call it? That BC thing? Huh? She said there's a lot of people nowadays who can use telepathy, right? Maybe there's some nice guy out there who knows of the trouble we're going through and is using telepathy to tell us what we should do? That would be wonderful, but here's what I think it is. The human mind, their knowledge and memories, that is, works at its absolute best in extreme situations like this. You're suddenly sounding a lot like an adult. And so it tells you what you should do in the form of a voice echoing in your head. Perhaps? Memories, huh? I don't have any of those. But it's said that even when you lose your memories, they leave behind a vague feeling. So, perhaps in your case, that feeling in your mind was the strong desire to save people. I see. That might be it. That was a much more fitting mindset than the idea that someone was ordering him around with BC. That desire to save Yuri that he'd felt back then was most certainly not vague. So maybe that's why I get so desperate to save people, even without my knowledge and memories. Yes, I'm sure of it. His heart warmed at Yuri's whisper. Even when you lose your memories, they leave behind a vague feeling, huh? In terms of abilities, there was probably a world of difference between the past him and his current self. But the core of his heart and mind might be the same, with or without memories. His heart felt a bit lighter when he thought of it that way. Thanks, Yuri. I think I really needed that. Oh, you're welcome. The end of the ladder grew closer and closer as Yuri stuttered. We're already there, huh? Watase pushed aside his desire to stay the way they were now and got off the ladder. All right, we're finally here. Yuri breathed a sigh of relief against the back of his neck when she heard that. Whew! You did a good job of hanging in there. You can rest easy now. Okay. Kazumi untied the rope and helped Yuri down to the floor. Captain Kasasagi. Huh? What's up? Thank you very much. Don't sweat it. We only made it because you were brave. I wonder if not having a high self-esteem or having a poor relationship with Yuri would have caused us to fall to our deaths. Then let's get going. We need to catch up with Miss Tsubakiyama. Yeah, you're right. And so Watase and the others pried open the elevator doors and entered B2. Area 5, Outer Ring, B2. The area they'd struggled so hard to get to was more or less the same in structure as its B1 counterpart. Laboratories lined the hallway. Kazumi glanced at one of them, then muttered to herself. Neuroscience laboratory? That's what was written on the plate in front of the room. That's an odd thing to have in a nuclear research facility. Just then, they heard voices coming from the room. I'm telling you this for your own safety. I'm sorry. Oh, we found her! Wait. She went to Area 6. How is she back? It was Ukita and Enna. It seemed they'd already regrouped. Watase's group entered the room in high spirits. But what they found was a room filled not with the joy of reunion, but rather a somewhat dark atmosphere. Ukita was glaring at Enna. Hey, what happened this time? Oh, it's you guys. Well, Miss Tsubakiyama here was fiddling around with some machinery in this room, you see. I already said I'm sorry. I was just curious because the room's called the Neuroscience Laboratory. When she said that, it finally hit Watase just how off that sounded. Actually, yeah, that is weird. Old man, does neuroscience have anything to do with nuclear power research? Indeed it does. First of all, you must remember that this facility's official name is the 6th Laboratory of Atomic and Biological Organization. Thus, we study both atomic power and biology here. That's how we were able to develop a medicine like AD. I get it now. So what do you research then? My apologies, but I am not allowed to answer those sorts of questions. Oh, top secret, huh? Don't want us finding out? Huh? Why not? It's what they call a duty of confidentiality. We can't divulge the details of our research to outsiders like yourselves. Some of our research is also related to national policy, so we can't make exceptions. Otherwise, every last one of us would pay the price. We understand. However, we are permitted to enter laboratories for the search, correct? Rather late to be asking, wouldn't you agree? Anyway, of course you are, well, with the situation being what it is. Regardless, the things contained from Area 5 onwards are about as top secret as you can possibly get. Even if we can make it out of here in one piece, I strongly suggest that you do not tell anyone on the outside about what you saw here. The consequences for doing so could prove unexpectedly dire. Ukita's words had a heavy weight to them. We'll worry about all that after we get out of here. We need to focus on finding AD right now. Watase joined the others in searching the room, though he had a bad feeling weighing on his mind. Naturally, the large machines in the room caught everyone's eyes. Kazumi inquisitively spoke up. There's not enough room in that MRI machine cylinder for people to go in, for that bed to enter. An MRI apparatus, a CT scanner, and isn't this an EEG instrument? Oh, you're quite well informed, aren't you? Yes, I'm a certified first aid practitioner, you see. The same goes for the captain. Oh, I don't know shit, Kazumi. I'm pretty sure I could do a simple surgery myself, but let's just say it'd be illegal for me to do it. They searched as they talked, but found no AD. Yuri then spoke up. I don't think this room has anything we need. I concur. Why don't we search the other rooms? Good idea. Then let's split up into 2 teams and search the floor. It's that helmet device from Ghostbusters. Indeed, that would be for the best. Then let's go with the same team configuration as last. Awatase interrupted Kazumi before she could finish. No, I think that would be too inefficient. The inner ring is more consolidated than the outer ring, so let's split into teams of 4 and 2. Moribe and I will check the inner ring. Huh? June and Enna's eyes widened when they heard that. Oh my, then I should join up with Miss Tachibana's team, correct? I have no problems with that. I think it's a good setup. Right? You okay with it too, Moribe? Yeah. Okay, Save. Okay. Excuse me. God, I'm tired. One sec, guys. Okay, okay. Excuse me. Okay. Wow, I spaced out for a second there. Whew. Okay, let's see. Why is Yuri involved in this? Why is June surprised that I'm taking her with me? Alright, let's leave their values high. See what happens. Discussing the subject in detail would just be a waste of time. Watase quickly wrapped things up and dashed out of the room with June. She called out to him as they ran through the hallway. Hey, Captain, why'd you ask to set up the teams this way? Huh? Oh, no big reason, really. Yuri looked tired. I figured the 2 of us wouldn't have much trouble coordinating our search, so we were the best pair for the smaller group. Oh, really now? It's pretty damn well thought out. I think your instincts have finally come back to you. Well, my memories haven't, but my instincts are somewhat back. That's great. You're becoming real reliable now. While chatting, they finally approached the connecting passageway to the inner ring. Oh, it's contaminated, isn't it? But we're stopped dead by the shrill ringing of the Procyon's alarm. The rating was 8650 MSV. Oh, that's bad. It's a contaminated zone. Crap, let's fall back. Watase and June immediately ran out of the connecting passageway and shut the gate. The ringing stopped when the gate shut, but it'd probably go off again if they reopened it. What's the MSV of Chernobyl? In the most contaminated zones? I can't remember. We talked about that last time or the time before. Watase gritted his teeth and thought the situation over. What lay ahead of them was B2 of Area 5's inner ring. In other words, the block right next to the contaminated zone where that girl had gone running off into. Then that means both blocks are completely contaminated, huh? It was in the Elephant's Foot entry in the tips. Okay. Tips is G. Elephant's Foot. It does not say. Man, we have not got a lot of tips unlocked. Man, how long is this game that there's so much still to unlock? Huh. I guess we're only 2 hours of in-universe time in. There is Route B. Then that means both blocks are completely contaminated, huh? To search this place would be dangerous. There's a chance he'd faint again. Watase hesitated and... Captain, what's wrong? Well, would you stop me if I said I wanted to search the contaminated zone? Huh? Are you out of your mind? Hey, remember the girl we found in Area 4? You mean Luis? Right. The last place we saw her... Watase took out his PDA and pointed to the map with one hand as he explained. Was in B2 of Area 4's inner ring. If she had a security card, there's a chance she ran into Area 5. In other words, right past this connecting passageway, huh? Yeah, but both areas are contaminated zones. If she wandered in there without knowing that, then it's possible she might have passed out just like you did back then. Well, by this point, she's turbo fucked. Bingo. If she did, it might be too late for her. But we can't leave her alone. Am I wrong? Good point. We need to find some AD, too. June thought it over for a bit, and finally made up her mind and spoke. The Elephant's Foot was 80,000 MSV. Yeah, I thought it was something ridiculous like that. Okay then, if you're going, then I'm coming too. Wait, you too? But we'll only take 3 minutes. We'll have to search the whole place in that time limit, so make it real quick. Alright, that is a good plan. I will trust Moribe. According to the map, there's apparently 6 rooms there, so we should be able to take care of it if we search 1 room each in 1 minute. Hold on, this will be dangerous, you know that? Yeah. Are you listening to yourself? It's more dangerous for you to go alone, right? Take the help. June's face and voice were strained, as if she were trying to hide her fear. That's right, Moribe's got to be scared too. 8650 MSV, a level of radiation that would most certainly kill you if you were exposed to it for a mere hour. It was highly unlikely that anyone could look at that number without feeling the slightest ounce of fear. Yet here June was, hiding that. To think a body that small is brimming with so much courage. Watase spoke to June, making sure to hide his admiration. You're right about that. You need 2 people to go into that contaminated zone, or it won't work. Yeah, you can search much faster that way. No, I'm talking about if one of us faints. You can't believe that lightning won't strike twice. Just because you didn't faint last time doesn't mean you won't this time either. That's why two of us need to go. If one of us passes out, the other one can carry them. So we're putting our lives into each other's hands? Do you really think June's large enough to carry you? Well, I guess she's done it before. Yeah, exactly. Man, that is a nice ring to it. June's strained face slowly changed. A bold smile soon took its place. Don't you know, Captain? They call that the buddy system. If I get a tip that says buddy system. Buddy system? It means that we're partners. Trusting your buddy and having their trust is more important than anything else in our line of work when we're on the job. The lieutenant and I are normally buddies, but today there's no doubt that you and I are partners. Partners, huh? That does sound nice. Watase returned June's smile. It was likely that their two smiles were mirroring each other. The two of them silently held out their hands, then shared a firm handshake. Listen up. We'll limit our search to 3 minutes. If we run out of time, then drop whatever you're doing and get back here. Yeah, that time limit sounds about right. It'll all be for nothing if we both pass out after all. Also, make sure to keep this a secret from Tachibana. You don't even have to ask. I don't want to give her another thing to worry about. Watase and June set their watch timers to 3 minutes, then turned back to the gate. Okay, ready to go, partner? Yeah! They both let out a gallant cry and charged straight into the contaminated zone. The place was scorched black. They were now in a battle against time. However, a dull pain ripped through Watase's head. It's this? It was the same headache and numbness in his skin that he'd felt when he'd last entered the contaminated zone. So what? Watase pushed it aside and continued running down the hallway. Moribe, we'll meet up in the center. Roger. He and June split up at the fork in the hallway. He started off by running into the farthest room to the right. The room itself was just as charred as the hallway. Watase then opened his mouth. Is anyone there? Say something if you are. But there was no response, and no AD to be found. Watase checked the place for a minute, then ran out of the room. He immediately went into the next room. But there was nothing there. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing that there's no survivors here. If one of them had been lying unconscious here, they would have definitely been exposed to fatal levels of radiation by now. Unless they're immune! Watase burst out of the room as he thought that. He then saw June running up to him at that exact moment. Moribe, any luck? I checked all 3 rooms, but I got nothing. Same here, then this one's the only room left. Watase said that and looked at the last room. There was a plate attached to the door. He had trouble reading it because of all the soot covering it, but... Dr. Miyoko Tenkawa? Wait, isn't that the name of one of the kids? The surname of one of the kids? Something played back in Watase's head as soon as he saw that name. Hey, Teach, what are their names? The boy is Natsuhiko Tenkawa. His mother is also a co-worker of mine here. Isn't this Natsuhiko's mom's office? I see. So this is... But before Watase finished that thought... Oh, what was that? He saw a strange sight flash before him for a second. It looked like someone had been crying. Watase felt a bad feeling overtake him and guide his voice. Moribe, let's go in. Yeah. The two of them then ran inside. Unlike the other rooms, the fire hadn't done any harm to this place. Luis, say something if you're here. However, there were no survivors to be seen. Was that vision I had just a delusion of mine? Watase thought that and looked around the room when his alarm suddenly rang. Already? Alright, Save. Okay. Let's be confident and see if that gets us dead. Let's get out of here. We promised we'd go back after 3 minutes. Watase hesitated for a moment. They'd confirmed that there were no survivors here, but they couldn't say the same about AD. He was also concerned about the strange vision he'd just had. His mind made up. Watase addressed June. Loreweaver, you go on ahead. No, stay together, dumbass! Huh? What about you? I'm going to search this room a little while longer. I have a feeling that there's something here. Watase said that over his shoulder and started searching the room. The hell are you talking about? If you stay in a contaminated zone any longer... Just go already. I'm doing this only for my own satisfaction. Then I'm staying. What? Watase was about to shout, "You idiot, go back," when... Your intuition's as sharp as hell most of the time. If you think something's here, then I bet you're right. June then immediately began helping with the search. Hell yeah. Fine, but 30 seconds and we're out of here. There wasn't time to argue. Watase checked behind the desk for the something he was looking for. And while there weren't any survivors there, he did find a metal box. I found a medical box! Seriously? Is anything in it? Watase opened it up to find 5 ampules of AD. And we have one left, so we have another hour's worth. We did it! Alright, good work. Let's head back to the outer ring now. Yeah! Watase and June took the medical box and raced out of the room. Watase and June let out a deep, over 80%, huh? Let out a deep breath as soon as they made it back to the outer ring. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. Still, the danger was well worth it, wouldn't you say? But June's face soon clouded over. Yeah. Huh? Hey, what's wrong? Oh, she's thinking about how we're going to have to tell Kazumi that we went into a contaminated zone to get the AD. Excuse me. No, sorry. I just feel a little... Ugh. June covered her mouth and bent over. Loreweaver? Captain, don't look. I'm gonna hurl. Wait, what's that mean again? Ah! You don't remember what hurling means? Ugh. Gross. June turned her back on Watase and threw up in a corner of the hallway. Watase watched all that in dumbfoundment. June soon finished vomiting and vanished a smile on her pale face. Man, sorry you had to see that. I'm so embarrassed I want to die. Loreweaver. Hey, don't tell me you got radiation damage. Huh? No, that's not it. She's not pregnant, is she? I was just so nervous and ran around so much that my fatigue finally caught up with my stomach, that's all. Seriously? Hey, let me see your wrist. Watase grabbed June by the wrist. Hey, the hell are you doing, you perv? Shut up, keep it down for a minute. June complied, and Watase examined her vital checker. Normally, all 5 lights would be green, but this time, one of them was bright red. It's red? That means there's something wrong with your body, right? Whoa, hold your horses. That's just the pulse indicator, right? My heart's just racing a bit, because I just got done blowing chunks all over the floor. It'll be green again soon. See? The light turned green again shortly after June said that. See, I'm all better now. Right as rain. I see. Well, okay then. But hey, are you okay? You having another headache? Huh? Oh. No, I'm all good. He then realized something. The strange feeling he'd felt when he'd entered the contaminated zone had vanished. So it really was the effects of the radiation. But that's why Watase was worried. Like him, June had also been in a contaminated zone twice. Watase was stronger than her, and even he'd fainted, meaning there was no guarantee someone with such a small body like June's would be okay. Less surface area for the radiation to hit. Tell me right away if something comes up. Thanks for worrying about me. You really are acting so nice today. What are you talking about? It's only natural to be worried about your partner. The two of them smiled at each other. Frail smiles, but smiles nonetheless. Anyway, looks like we found quite the treasure back there, huh? No kidding. It's too bad that we didn't find any survivors, but it sure is good we found the AD so quickly this time around. With the 5 he'd found in the contaminated zone, Watase now had 6 AD on him. They still had plenty of time left until the next injection, so they could take it easy for a while. Alright, then let's regroup with the others. I'm sure they'll be as happy as we are. Yeah! Watase and June then ran off together. They headed for a large room in the outer ring. Kazumi and the others were already there to greet them. Oh, that was rather quick. You're done searching the inner ring? Yeah, and guess what we found? More AD! Everyone's eyes widened at once. How many did you find? 5. Now we have 6 altogether. This is wonderful. It's a good thing you found them quickly this time. So there was a lot of AD stored in Area 5. It's just like the Disaster Prevention Manual said. Indeed, now we can rest easy. For an extra hour. We've still got... Time is it? It's almost noon, and we won't be able to get out of here until 7? Or was it 6? So we've got 5 hours worth that we've got to find. That's 30 AD between the 6 of us. More if we count the kids that we're looking for. They chose to keep the fact that the inner ring was contaminated a secret. With their search of it over, they didn't need to give the rest of the group any unnecessary worry. By the way, how about you guys? Find anything? The rest of the group's faces dimmed slightly. No, nothing on our end. No AD and no survivors. However, we did come across these. Ukita held out a bunch of security cards, all labeled level 6. Hell yeah, now we can all get in. We don't have to stay in a group to prevent getting separated. You found that many level 6 cards? We found those 3 in the same room. It appears they belong to the person who manages and creates these cards. Or perhaps they belong to facility inspectors. Either way, they now had 4 level 6 cards. Oh, right. Right, we only have the 1 level 6 card. It was level 4 we had 2 of. But there wasn't much use in having so many cards of the same level. The cards don't matter. The survivors are much more important. I wonder why we can't find any of them. Area 6 is the only place we haven't searched yet, right? Yeah, really is kinda strange that we still haven't found them. They'd already finished searching over 80% of the facility, meaning the survivors were either somewhere the group didn't know or were already dead. Is there any place we overlooked? Are their bodies there? The air grew heavily still, as if Watase's sentiments had spread to everyone else. But a timid voice rose, as if to cut through all that. I think it'd be better if we think positively instead. Well, thank you, Yuri. Huh? Wouldn't it be best to believe that the fact we haven't seen them yet means that everyone's still alive? I'm sure they're all in Area 6. Watase was astonished at the longest declaration he'd ever heard Yuri speak. But something gradually crept out of the depths of his stomach. You're right. Indeed. Yep, Yuri's absolutely right. See? Yuri's peaceful smile dispelled the shadows shrouding everyone's faces. Indeed, thinking dark thoughts all the time won't do any good. That's right, Miss Sonamiya and all the others are strong kids. Strong enough to absorb 1,000,000 sieverts of radiation. Alright, then let's continue with the search, people. Yes, even if they haven't escaped, we should definitely find them in Area 6. The group all nodded at each other and started walking off. Their final destination was Area 6, where all of their hopes lay. The group opened the security gate and went through the connecting passageway. This is, factory. It's a factory. Interesting. This is, I think, a good pausing point, Shy. What do you think? Should I keep going for the next half hour? Or is this a good boundary point between the areas? Probably a good point to pause. Yeah, I thought it would be. Good, because my throat's a little sore. Alright, well, in that case, we're going to save here. Save 32. Yeah, alright. Game's keeping steady with the same level of quality it had before. I'm looking forward to seeing more. So, I'm going to read my schedule and get off. Chapter 3 is the longest, and we're more than halfway through probably the longest in Route A. Gotcha. Alright, I'm going to read my schedule and get off. Before I do, I would like to plug a couple of things. First off, if you're watching this on Twitch, I have a YouTube channel, at Loreweaver on YouTube, or you can use the !YT command in Twitch chat to get the link. I upload all my streams there, everything I've played in the last almost 8 years is on there. You'll find something you like. Watch whatever. I've got a ton of full playthroughs of a ton of different games, and a few started and aborted playthroughs, but, you know, we'll see. Also, get my Slay the Princess video to 6,000 views, please. It's only like 95 away, and that would be a good milestone for me to hit. If you're watching this on YouTube, I stream live on Twitch almost every day at 1 p.m. EST. You can tune in live whenever you like. Come chat with me. I love talking to people in chat while I play. You can find the link either in the description of the YouTube video or at twitch.tv/Loreweaver15. Finally, I would like to plug my Patreon, which you can find either just at the link patreon.com/LoreweaverStreams or in the description of the YouTube video or with the ! Patreon command in Twitch chat. I make my living doing stuff on Patreon. It's my sole source of income, and I make enough to pay my rent and my bills, but I don't really make much beyond that. And I haven't had savings for a very long time, not for emergencies anyway. And I'd really like to have something for medical emergencies or if I need to replace stuff, you know, the works. So if you could go to my Patreon, pledge $1 a month or $1 per stream or anything in between, pledge a bunch per stream if you really want to change my life, I would be grateful. I'm grateful to everybody who pledges because you're the reason I get to do this job for a living. I would be a burger flipper or telemarketer still if it weren't for this job, and I'm endlessly grateful to you guys for making it so I can do this. So, thank you. As for the schedule, today is Monday, so Tuesday and Wednesday, I will be playing Crosscode for a patron. Starting a new playthrough of that, gonna get through the whole thing this time, starting over because it's been a year and a half since I last played it. And I didn't get that far in it, but we'll see. On Thursday, we'll be starting The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky SC. I'm very excited to see how that goes. That'll be for a patron as well. On Friday, we'll be playing Street Fighter 6 at 2 p.m. EST for a patron. I'll be doing the World Tour mode, I believe, unless he wants me to do ranked or matches with fans. We'll see. Saturday will, of course, be our weekly Final Fantasy XIV stream. Sunday, I'll be starting Paper Mario for a patron. And then Monday and Tuesday of next week will be more Root Double. So, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time.